Hi everyone, that is a blooming quesadilla ring. That is what I made, which isn't quite as big because I only made less than a half recipe, but it's every bit as good. So let's make it together. The first thing we need is a little bit of olive oil into the pan, tablespoon-ish. We'll let that warm up, spread it around the pan a little bit because in goes our chicken. I've got 2 chicken breasts. If you're making a full recipe, it calls for 3 cups worth of chicken, which would probably be 4 chicken breasts. We're going to sear them. We're going to cook them completely down. Well, don't actually cook them down. You want all the sides nice and browned up like that. And make sure they're fully cooked. I put it back just to make sure. And of course you can tell because when you cut through it, if it doesn't look white, it probably isn't done. Alright, we have 1 big yellow pepper cut up in cubes, along with about a cup of onions chopped up. And using the same pan and the leftover oil we had, we're going to cook these down till they're softened. Doesn't have to be all the way down, but you don't really want the crunch in with the chicken in that. So we mix. Eventually we're going to get her down to where we need it. Get her in a bowl. You can see they're not fully cooked. They still got some firmness to them. And we'll put that aside. Here's our tortillas. Like I said, I'm only pulling out 8. Line them up and be careful with a sharp knife because those things move. So as much as I'm trying to be as careful as possible, and you could have cut them one at a time, that way you don't really have to worry about it. But I thought this made more sense until the damn thing started moving. You want to cut the tortillas in half. Each one's going to roll into a cone. That's going to make our blooming quesadilla. So we need some taco sauce. This is a taco sauce mix. I'm only going to use half and half the amount of water. And we'll mix all that up. Just like that. So it's all nice and combined, and put it aside. Now here's our chicken. We want to shred it. Okay, it's all nice and cooked. So I'm just going to do it by hand because the fork method, this way I can make sure it's broken down to what I want it to be. And no one's going to get a big chunk of chicken. It's all going to be nice and hopefully as uniform as I can get it. Plus it's a little bit of fun too. Okay, looks good. Put that aside. Well, like I said, I had to adjust this recipe a bit. So here's our taco sauce. And this is a 1/4 cup of ketchup that I measured out, believe it or not. And we're going to mix that together. So it's all nice and combined. Just like that. And set it aside. Now in a bowl, you want it big enough, of course. In comes our shredded chicken, the base of our filling. And to that is our peppers and onions. I'm going to give them a good mix. Once that's done, onto our taco and ketchup mix. And of course, mix that in and combine it. And that looks good. There is our quesadilla mix. Yummy. Put that aside. Okay, the fun part is we've got to make these cones. So there's our tortillas and about 2 tablespoons of the mixture. We're also going to put on a nice handful of shredded cheese. And now the fun part. Figuring out how to roll this up. Goes one way, goes the other way. You know what, it took me about 3 or 4 times to actually figure out, okay, which way do I roll it, which way don't I? You can see I'm still playing with it on the first one. I can't quite figure it out. I even tried doing it without stuffing back and forth, so I'm not going to show you any of that. Now, the first three are subpar cones at best, but soldier on we do. Now here's how you properly do it. You bend it over one way and you tightly roll it, and then eventually it's going to look like a cone, in which case you just kind of roll on an angle. And there you go. I actually made a cone. That was the fourth time. Well, it did take a while to figure it out. It got a little easier towards the end. So I've at least got the right tightness and thickness for the roll, except it does look like a roll. So here's our pizza tin with a glass in the middle for spacing, and of course our quesadilla rolls. And I did forget to put parchment paper underneath, but I ended up doing it later. On top goes cheese, cheddar cheese, and then I had 3 extra ones because there's 13 on the bottom, 3 more on the top, and you can see if I did 40 how that would make 3 it would make 3 layers, and it would look very cool. I was going more for taste too, just to see if this was even worth the effort, and it really was. It's a hell of a snack. If you got a lot of people coming over, I highly recommend it. So I didn't have quite enough cheddar cheese, so I grabbed my Tex-Mex cheese and topped it off a little bit. Of course, the glass does not go in the oven. It's a 375 oven for 10 to 15 minutes till everything's nice and melty. And there you have it. There is our bloomin' quesadilla. A little bit of salsa to go with it. Doesn't that look yummy? We're going to put one on a plate to show you. That's what they look like when you get them on a plate. A little bit of sour cream to go with it, and a fork, and that's some good eating. Hey, another great recipe. I hope you'll give it a try. Leave me a comment below, one way or the other. Listen, if you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button and hit the bell, because that'll tell you the next time I upload a video. Feel free to share this and any of my other videos. And thanks for stopping by and watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.